Alright, I'm somewhat exhausted, but I mean the fact that I've only uploaded like one video in the past 5 days means that I should probably get one out now. So this battle I showed, I think the last battle was like a pretty standard orc rush, and this battle in terms of Empire games that don't use artillery or rush tactics is, I mean, this is actually pretty sturdy strategy to use, especially against rush armies or armies that are supposed to be kind of rush armies but also have the defensive aspects of artillery. As you can see, he's got a lot of black, well, not a lot, but he's got black orcs, big uns, but he also has doom diver, so his army's kind of, you know, a little weird in the sense that he's got, you know, artillery but also rush. You know, usually if I'm going to play artillery, I'm going to go all defensive, or if I don't bring artillery, I'm going to go all attacking. I think that was, yes, I think that statement was correct. So this was a kind of little bit weird, you know what I mean? Orcs are very hard to be, you know, kind of defensive with, since they are, you know, aggression. But this tactic, I like to call it flying disruption, mainly because the tactic that me and Empty are using is just to disrupt the enemies. And you're going to see later on in the game, the fact that these guys, I mean, the four characters managed to just split these armies in two, and they didn't get a ton of kills. I mean, the generals did quite a lot of kills, but the majority of the kills that actually got one, like things like, you know, the artillery and like goblin archers and stuff. So the whole point of this tactic is essentially just to disrupt the enemy as best as possible, and then just to kind of chip away at his artillery, his archers, his generals. And as you can see right from the start, one army's decided, you know, I'm going to kill these characters, where the other army's decided, you know what, I don't want anything to do with these guys, I'm just going to go forward. And that's what this tactic is just really good. That's just really good at just splitting armies up, disrupt. That's why I call it, you know, just disruption, aerial disruption, flying disruption, whatever you want to call it. But it's just a very annoying strategy to kind of deal with. And as you can see, I mean, just the fact that I want Pegasus makes it just so hard to hit as well. These things are so fast. So I mean, this is essentially the story of the battle. It's just going to be two armies versus one, basically, or one then the other. It's, you know, it's one whole army versus two halves, basically. So I mean, in terms of tactics, the fact that we have the net of Amantok makes, you know, charging as easy as possibly can be. You know, it's just pace off the enemy as best as possible, just chip away at his forces. And what we want is the fact that he's got a lot of artillery and invested a lot in his artillery. You see one guy's just moving his up, whereas, well, I mean, his artillery's stuck right now, but he isn't going to really move. He's just going to kind of, well, what he should have done is he should have moved up, whereas, you know, this player just kind of decided, I'm going to protect the artillery, which meant that it's just going to be so much harder for this guy to beat the army, because as you can see over here, I mean, a hell of a lot of halberdiers, spears, crossbows, great swords. I mean, no heavy artillery, but, you know, there's a hell of a lot of punching power, hell of a lot of staying power, range units. So you know, there's really no chance that this army is going to be able to do any real damage. I mean, even a giant's going to get destroyed by the spears and halberdiers, and you have a lot of goblins. I'm not entirely sure why he brought so many goblins. I guess they were just kind of the cheap alternative, but these guys aren't even that cheap. I mean, they're like 450 or 400, so I mean, for meat shields, the fact that they just route so quick just doesn't really... I think it has chevrons on them as well, actually. I'm not entirely sure. I'll check, but after the game. But I mean, if you're going to bring like meat shield goblins, just bring just normal goblins. But as you can see, I mean, one army's advancing where the other one's just kind of stuck here, and we're just kind of picking apart the just artillery, the archers, the general. I mean, I made a mistake in the sense that I focused way too much on the archers because I just didn't want my guys getting shot out of the sky. But what I should have done really is I should have just killed his general. I helped them to kill the general. As you can see, he makes a smart move. He just gets his general straight into his orcs because there's no way of touching them, especially since big uns. So yeah, again, it's just the story of the battle. Just picking one side apart, just trying to disrupt them, just to split them in half. As you can see, I mean, this army is going to do relatively well, or at least the rock lobbers are going to get a ton of kills, whereas the doom divers get absolutely no kills. And it isn't because we killed them either, it's because in terms of the kind of target priority, he kind of prioritized killing my characters instead of the army, which is a mistake. I mean, these are, even though they're guided and therefore good at kind of just hitting flying units, not good at killing them. It takes a long time for these guys to actually kill. Almost lost my Celestial. If that was a Gaze and a Gash, the general will be dead, unfortunately. But these Doom Divers really aren't character snipers. They are infantry killers, and these things do a ridiculous amount of damage. I mean, the rock lobbers do really good this match, so it's kind of a shame that my opponent decided to prioritize the nuisance that is, you know, the flying lords and characters instead of just killing the infantry. Which, I mean, considering he has a lot of, you know, well, not a lot, but a good amount of black orcs, good amount of biggins, some savages, it would have been, you know, it would have took a hell of a lot of pounding to beat this army. But the fact that he has, you know, a lot of artillery, he's got like sturdy infantry, he's got cavalry, it's definitely doable. But the fact that he prioritizes mainly on the flying characters just obviously gives us the advantage, in the sense that these doom drivers that would have done a ton of damage to our great swords is doing relatively no damage to the character. So you know, I want to say it was pretty standard, and to be honest, it kind of was. I mean, this isn't the most I guess entertaining of strategies, but it is a very effective one. As you can see, I mean, he's just smashed my guys with doom drivers, but they don't really do that much damage, honestly. So also the fact that I've got like 2 health potions on my general is just kind of, you know, I mean, also the fact that he has black orcs here. I mean, if you're going to protect the doom divers, fair enough, but I mean, these black orcs are so slow that if I charge into the doom divers, there's no way these guys are catching up. So I mean, as you can see, one army's just kind of turtling up, protecting the general, then the other one's just kind of, you know, just stationary, just letting them fire away with the rock lobbers, and they've already got, you know, decent amount of kills. So the fact that we were micromanaging so hard with our flying lords meant that we were going to kind of take a lot of casualties, well, not a lot, but a decent amount of casualties right at the start, which is, you know, why we kind of took a few too many casualties before we started moving. But as soon as we start moving, I mean, there's really nothing the goblins can do. The giant isn't going to get that many kills, honestly. The black orcs will take a while to kill, but with rear charges, with an Avamantok, with a ton of great swords, it's just not going to be good. And especially considering, look how many black orcs are over here. I mean, 2 black orcs, you have some cavalry, the doom divers, they're just stationary, doing nothing. You have this army that's just stuck, I guess, wanting to protect the general. It's just, I mean, fair enough, he's close to killing the light wizard, so I understand why he wants to prioritize in killing the light wizard, just because it's, you know, it's only going to take like maybe 1 good vindictive glare to kill it. But the fact that, you know, we're quite clearly going to absolutely destroy this kind of frontal force, it's just going to be a huge issue. Oh my god, actually, yeah, fanatics. I'm actually not sure how many kills these fanatics got. I don't think they got that many. But you know what, thumbs up for using fanatics, because they are very hard to actually make worthwhile. But I mean, as a frontline force, they are absolutely horrendous, and you're going to see, I mean, the giant's going to get killed pretty quick. Jesus Christ, how many more? You know what, actually, come to think of it, fanatics were pretty good, but look at the amount of just friendly fire damage the fanatics do. I mean, these things are absolutely insane. So fair enough for using fanatics, because they're absolutely hilarious, but I mean, it's not the most sturdy of strategies. So I mean, you can see they've already routed. The trolls are going to constantly be taking damage. The what's these giants going to take damage, and then, you know, he's bringing these cavalry in to obviously get a good, you know, rear charges to help break the lines. But I mean, as soon as we see the cavalry, we just turn our crossbows over, just start shooting the shit out of them. And the fact that, you know, we have a lord to help, or I can call him a lord, he's just not a lord, he's a character, but you know what I mean. I mean, I have halberdiers which are going to do great. I have great swords supporting them. I mean, honestly, I would have tried to split the cavalry up. I would have went on both flanks, because it would have minimised the casualties taken off the halberdiers. But I mean, it's just, there's just too much to deal with. I mean, the giant's going to bite the dust pretty soon. He's almost dead. Have the trolls, which aren't going to do very well versus spears. Cavalry's done. And then, I mean, you have these doom divers, 1 kill, 2 kills. You know, it's just, shaman's almost dead. It's just, if you come across this type of strategy where they've got a lot like flying units and they're just trying to piss you off, if you have artillery, I would just recommend leaving the artillery and just rushing forward. Because if you do what my opponent did and try to turtle up and protect the artillery, it just isn't going to just, when your teammate attacks, he's just going to get absolutely destroyed. And you can see these rock lobbers actually got a quite good amount of kills. They're obviously going to get a lot more, but I mean, the doom divers, look what the doom divers are. I mean, they're going after my flying, the light wizard, which, it's just I get that the flying wizard's annoying, but kill the infantry. That's what artillery's for, not for killing well, I said the Illuminati-ish, but just too much to deal with, unfortunately, for my opponent. I mean, as you see, the rock lobbers are doing a ton of damage, but I mean, you know, trying to hit flying loads, even if you hit, they don't do that much damage. So I'll see if I can catch a rock, just getting right in the face of these guys. So don't even know what the rock's actually aiming for. Fair enough. Yeah, it's pretty just kind of standard. I don't even know what you would call this strategy. I just call it flying nuisance or flying disruption, because that's what it is. It's just about disrupting the enemy and being a nuisance. I mean, you can see the army's kind of all over the place in the sense that he's got all of his night goblins are here. I guess it was just miss micro, you know, it's kind of micro everything, so kind of, you know, it's not that big a deal. But the fact that you have like Black Oaks just coming into the battle now, and you have artillery that isn't firing at the infantry, you've got trolls that are still stuck here. I mean, it's, again, just if you're out artilleried, or if you're just getting pissed off because you have too many flying units, just rush forward. I mean, camping isn't going to be, you know, that viable, honestly. It's especially if you're kind of split up from one another, which is what happened this battle. I mean, obviously me and Empty were actually talking, so we were kind of moving in unison, whereas I guess my opponents were just two random guys that didn't know each other. So yeah, it's I guess this kind of strategy is inevitable if you're not talking. I mean, it's one's going to camp, the other one's going to rush, you know, don't really know what's going on. So I guess the moral of the story is, if you're going to play tag battles, just play with someone, you know. I mean, look, if you mean the Black Oaks didn't get that many kills, the Doomdiver's got no kills. And then look how many kills the Rock Lobbers got. I mean, because they were actually firing at infantry, whereas the Doomdivers were trying to kill the Lord, or I keep calling it the fucking little wizard. Yeah, I mean, my Lords actually did pretty well, so it was just a pretty well, I guess not that I don't really use this strategy that often. It's not that fun. It's just the fact that you know, the two greenskins armies is not necessarily difficult for Empire to deal with, but it's definitely you know, you could look how many giants they could have brought. We had no idea, so we just kind of went for this relatively easy to use strategy just to kind of help against whatever they brought. So it wasn't the most entertaining battle, but I mean, it's a strategic battle, and I'm actually kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel when it comes to replays. I have none. I have 20, but I don't really want to use any of them. So hopefully in the next few days I'll actually have a bigger library of them with some more kind of diverse gameplays and stuff, and I aim on making a video for every single faction in the next week, or like faction in the battle. So laters.